This challenge that I just made is asking some basic questions, and let me ask you, since you went to Sunday school once or twice, on Easter morning, okay, these women came to the tomb. You've heard the story. Was the tomb open when the women arrived, or was the tomb closed when the women arrived and had to be opened later?
I'm going to guess that it was open.
You're right. And it was also closed. Matthew said that the tomb was still closed, and that then there was the earthquake that opened it.
When the women were there.
When
Is
the
this
women
including
arrived.
Mary Magdalene?
Well, that's another question.
Oh, okay.
Hold on a second.
Never mind.
Matthew said no, and then the earthquake happened and the angel and all that, and then it opened in their presence. But Luke, Mark, and John say, yes, the tomb was open when they arrived. What time did the women arrive at the tomb? Was it dark or was it sunshining?
I'll say dark.
You're right. And if you said sunshining, you're also right. Matthew said, as it began to dawn. Mark said, very early in the morning at the rising of the sun. Luke said, very early in the morning. John said, when it was dark. So you're right. Who were the women? How many women were they, and who were they?
Well, I thought...
Was there 1, 2, 3, or 4 or more women?
I thought there were 3.
You're right. Mark says there were 3.
I'm sensing a trend here.
Mary Magdalene, the mother of James, and Salome. But John said there was only 1, Mary Magdalene. Matthew said there was only 2, Mary and the other Mary. Luke said there were 4, Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary the mother of James, and other women. Why were they there? Had they already seen the tomb? Were they there to see the tomb, or were they there to bring spices? Which was it?
To bring spices.
You're right again. And they also, John said the body had already been spiced. They didn't bring spices. They were just coming to see the tomb. Who was at the tomb when they arrived? Who do you think was there? Was it 1 angel, 2 angels, 1 man, or 2 men?
Oh, I think the angels in the Bible are scary, so I'm going to say 1 man.
You're right. Mark says it was 1 young man dressed in white. But Matthew said it was 1 angel. Luke said it was 2 men, and John said it was 2 angels. So take your pick. So where were these angels when the women arrived? Were they sitting on the stone? Were they standing inside, or were they standing outside, or were they standing on each end of the bed? Where were they?
The bed.
You're right.
Oh, I know. I'm just trying to visualize this.
Well, it's like in a tomb with a rock. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, you're right. There were, according to John, 2 angels were sitting on each end of the bed. But Mark said there was 1 young man sitting inside on the right. Matthew said it was 1 angel sitting on the stone outside. And we don't have time to go into what the messenger said, but each of the 4 Gospels gives a different message of the angels. One said, go to Galilee. That's where you'll see Jesus, right? So after this whole experience where the women came to the tomb, did the women tell anybody what happened? Yes or no?
Well, I'm assuming the answer is yes and no.
You're too smart for this. You're right. Matthew said, yes, the women told, but Mark said no. And the quote is, neither said they anything to any man because they were afraid. And that's how the gospel ends.
Well, I don't blame them.
Luke and John both said yes, that they told. When Mary returned from the tomb, did she know that Jesus had been resurrected? Yes or no?
Well, this. I think we're on to you, Dan.
You're batting 1,000 so far. Yeah, well, Matthew and Mark and Luke said, yes, she knew it, but according to John, no. John's kind of an outlier. He's not one of the synoptics. The other 3 kind of agree a lot, and John was written about 60 years later, so he got a lot of his details wrong. Did Mary first see Jesus before she returned to the disciples or after?
So here we have more contradictions.
Exactly. Could Jesus be touched after the resurrection, yes or no?
I thought he said, touch me not to Mary Magdalene.
Well, in one case, no, but then later, yes.
Is that what he said to Mary Magdalene?
Yeah, I'm not yet ascended, don't touch
so
me.
In other words...
He was like a spook or something. You couldn't touch him.
But I thought there was also a message there that she could contaminate him, because that would be part of the biblical idea of women being unclean.
So we need to take a break here. Shall we do more of these when we come back?
Well, or I think we should talk also about, we've talked about internal contradictions, and let's talk a little bit more about the historical, philosophical... so-called...
Other problems of it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe we'll do one or two more of these questions. All right, I'm Dan Barker.
I'm Annie Laurie Gaylor, and stay tuned for a little bit more debunking of Easter.